Fair dinkum.
So everyone has different thresholds for productivity. You might say to someone, "Oh, studying 3 hours is too much in a day." Someone goes, "Studying 8 hours isn't even a lot."
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so everyone has different thresholds. The same as like balancing different things. Like I know on autopilot, I can push myself every day to do most of these stuff. But I just know I need to start incorporating like leisure activities and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think destructive productivity leads when you're trying to. It's destructive when you try to do too many things.
Oh, differs.
But certain people, like for example, they say like students of knowledge, people studying medicine, they can study like 10, 12 hours a day because it's one task.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not as destructive because your mind's just working on one thing and you kind of delve more into it. But when you try to do, I wake up 6 a.m. and I go mosque and then I do Quran class something and then I go gym and then I go work and then I go soccer training and I have a meeting and I have a recording and you're doing like 12 different things. It's like you said about your brain residue, like your mind is switching between tasks. There's too many tasks for your mind to start thinking about, but when there's one, you can delve into it more.
Definitely.
So I think that's why like they don't have like, from what I know, the burnout isn't as much. Like you hear like Elon Musk or these stories, because they're doing one thing, they can smash it out.
Yeah.
But when you try to do 7 different ones, that's when it starts becoming destructive and starts becoming overwhelming because there's too many different tasks in your life pulling you in different directions.
100%. And you have to, when a lot of your energy is focused in one area, yeah, it's not hard to switch to one or two other things, you know? But if you're trying to make sure that energy is consistent in one area, but then you can kind of dabble in the other ones, it's a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? Like for us, for example, yeah, I'm pretty sure Ali wants to be a gun footballer, yeah? You want to be the best you can be, inshallah, yeah? And the thing is, whenever that's on the back of your mind, like after a game, for example, yeah? Maybe you didn't perform as well as you wanted to, or maybe you didn't get the recognition, and then the next day that carries out into his, for example, he's at uni and he's sitting there in class, but he wants to be good at uni too. That's why I hate referencing this guy, but Charlemagne and the word that you guys always bag me about, yeah, compartmentalization comes in, bro.
Keep using it, bro.
You know what I
So
mean?
good.
It's like you have to, and the method is basically also take yourself away from the situation for at least a minute or two, like taking deep breaths and kind of like bringing yourself back in the moment, and then going, okay, now this switch has been flipped, and then I've gone from this is soccer Ali. I've gone from soccer Ali, now I'm uni Ali, yeah? And then when I'm finished with uni Ali, I go to fair income Ali. And then fair income Ali, I switch to, you know what I mean? But then like, it's hard because you have to keep flipping the switch, you know?
But how many identities can you have until it becomes a burden on you?
I know.
That's why it can't be that many. Like,
Unfortunately. Everyone has different levels though. You might have 6, someone might have 3, someone might have
Yeah.
8.
Definitely.
but it's also how much time those things take in your week, like in order to, you know, improve to whatever your goals are, or actually achieve your goals. So like uni, for example, that's going to take a lot, especially depending on your degree. Certain degrees, you need more hours. So it's obviously going to take more time, and you can't take on more things in your week.
Do you think there's toxic productivity?
I think it can become, but there's certain things you can do that can make it not. Like for example, as a student, if you count yourself like as a student of knowledge, and they say they used to study 16 hours a day, studying the deen, and because it's one, like of 16 hours is a bit much, you know, that's hard to maintain, but it's one of those things where it's like, if you pursue one thing, it might be manageable, but you have to create habits in your life that can make it manageable. Like you need to have actually a leisure and hobby activity where it takes your mind off it. You need to actually make time to not think about being productive. And if you don't do that, like for example, I don't do that. I don't make time to say, let me watch a TV show. My days, minute to minute, I plan to be productive. And because of that, you burn out.
Yeah, definitely.
But if I say Monday nights or Sunday, I can do this. But there's no area in my life, like even now with the challenge food, there's not one area in my life where I can actually take my mind and just put on autopilot. Do you get that? And that's the toughest bit. It's like, okay, I'll have one, it's like soccer training. It's like, okay, that's my fitness for the day. That's my workout. Everything is ticking off a box. But you need to have one thing where it's like, okay, you're not ticking off a box, you're just enjoying the moment.
Yeah. But you know what it is as well. Sometimes we look at these guys. For example, you give that example of the guy who's a student of knowledge, and he does 16 hours. We don't know the backstory. That brother probably either was raised into becoming a student of knowledge, so this is already a given from a young age,
True.
or he built his way into that. You know what I mean? So he's kind of already created that foundation where he's kind of used to studying only this and that's it, and maybe his social cultural situation is built around that built around his ideal of becoming a student of knowledge, for example. And I think a lot of the time what we do is whenever you are trying to be too productive, the reason I think it's destructive, the reason why I would assume it's destructive productivity is because whenever you falter or you fail in for example your ideal productive day, you know, or you miss the workout, the gym, or you didn't end up getting your 2 hours in of sleep or whatever it is, and in the afternoon you kind of go to yourself, damn man, the day's ruined, and and then everything starts toppling over.
Yeah.
It's the idea of perfectionism, you know.
It's the thing. It's like sometimes honestly that's how it used to be. I used to think if I didn't read today, it was a wasted day, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or if I didn't finish my to-do list, but I don't know how. I don't think like that anymore because I know I'm gonna go back to it tomorrow.
Yep.
But it is one of those things where it's like that's when it becomes destructive, when you don't do the thing on your to-do list, when you don't do the certain habit, you actually look back and say, what a waste of a day. It's like there's so many things you could be grateful on that day, but instead you're looking at the negative, you missing one habit that you're probably going to go back to tomorrow.
Definitely. And there was a guy that I was watching talk about, I can't remember who it was, but basically he goes, diets, yeah? You would think that if somebody ate a completely clean diet, they would often have better health than somebody who doesn't.
Yeah.
Incorrect. There's actually studies that show if somebody has a diet where they fail every so often, yeah, or they plan within it like the cheat meal or whatever it is, it's actually shown better results over the long term health wise. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of
fail.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like I can't remember. I'll find the reference and then I'll get Ahmed to put it on the screen. But like
I understand that.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they say like aim for the, aim super high. So if you miss, you at least go.
But also
know?
you want to callous your body, bro. Can you imagine if like this is like going back to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about inna ma'al usri yusra, yeah? Imagine if everything was just all good here on earth, you know? Imagine if all you did was get what you want and you just succeeded and like if you didn't fail, you didn't stuff up, where's the idea of improvement going to come from, you know? There's no improving, there's just, okay, stay the same. There's just always like, continue to do the same thing, continue to keep going in this direction, you know what I mean? And then there's no adjustments. And the adjustments is usually where the success comes from, you know? Or where the improvement comes from.
It's testing the waters to kind of like increase your threshold, like for productivity and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think a big thing is people, because of that word, destructive productivity, it's like for training. People use the word overtraining, and they kind of use these terminologies as an excuse to not push themselves.
Yeah.
So that's where it's actually an issue, where someone goes, I've been too productive today, it's going to become destructive. It's like, fam, all you did was read for 10 minutes.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
How do you like how do you know where the balance is though? That's why.
Just everyone's
like as in with,
yeah.
because like pushing a threshold, I'm all for that, 100%. But then it's like you can easily get caught up with like, is this the threshold? Or am I actually overtraining?
It's first,
your mind can convince
first
yourself
of all,
like
overtraining is an air raid. I'll tell you that. All it is under recovering. If you focus enough on recovery, you doing 1-2 sessions a day isn't overtraining.
No, I disagree with that.
I reckon
1-2 sessions a day. Come on,
one
bro.
or two sessions a day is different. But when I think of overtraining, I'm thinking of training until your heart fails, and,
that's
and then
different.
you get that guy, the Iron Cowboy, who lost his toenails after 2 Ironmans, and he's trying to do 7 Ironmans in it. Bro, that guy's it. Is he normal, bro?
But that's obviously too extreme. But the levels that we're at, doing a gym session, doing a soccer session, you're under recovering. That's all it is. Are you eating enough?
No,
Are you sleeping well
but
enough?
like, what about like if you're getting back into it and stuff? Like all of a sudden, like you're getting back into the gym, you can't be training every day straight away. You're
Or
gonna.
going
It's not possible.
50 Ks on a treadmill.
That's
and
why, like, you have to
just
build
start
your
running.
way. You have to
There's
build
one
your way
thing
up.
is easing yourself into it, which you have to do. But the second thing is you can't take it too slow, unfortunately, because sometimes it's like, I need to take it slow. And it takes 4 weeks to take it slow. Because, for example, the first time I hit back or chest, it takes me a week to recover. You're actually supposed to, after 4 days, hit it again, even if it's sore. Because your muscles get used to working on it. You know? But if you wait a week, it's always going to take a week to recover.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, the human body adapts pretty well.
There's also
That's why,
active
yeah.
recovery. Yeah.
See?
So basically,
I
whenever
love
like,
that.
for example, like I had I done legs. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. The first time in ages, you know, because I kept rolling my ankles. And then I done calves at the gym, bro. I was absolutely demolished. Like I couldn't feel my calves for a couple of days. And then I go to myself, you know what? Let me go for a light walk and then maybe go into a light jog. And I started realizing, hang on, it was actually not as bad as I thought it was.
It loosens up the muscles, yeah.
Not only loosens it up, bro. It just kind of like, I don't know what it is. Like a mind barrier. I think it's like a mind barrier or something.
That's all it is. Mental barriers. And that's the same thing with productivity though. It's like, oh, I can't. It's like you when you're like, I can't do any more study. And then you're like, okay, let me only go do another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then you somehow did an hour and a half and it went like that.
Yeah.
You put barriers, and that's what I don't like when people use overtraining, you know, destructive productivity. They use these terms to make excuses to make them feel better. And that's when you kind of have to switch it around. It's like trial and error, because everyone has different maxes. Just trial and error and find out what's your max